am so excited about today's video. We're gonna go over the top 10 mistakes that I see happen in beginner archery classes. And the great part about today's video is not only am I gonna go over what the mistakes are, but I'm also gonna go over how to correct the mistake. And then after I talk about how to correct the mistake, I'll also let you know if you do that mistake, what could happen, where your arrow is gonna hit on the target. So it's gonna be a jam-packed video today with lots of information. I think you'll really enjoy it. So follow along with me and let's go through it all. Super easy mistake that I see happen in a lot of my classes, and it's really easy to fix, is finger placement on the string. What happens is a lot of times they're thinking about probably a lot of other things that are new to them. So they don't pay a lot of detail to where they're placing their fingers on the string on each shot. One shot, they might be 3 fingers right under. And then the next shot they'll come and they just go split finger. Okay, not wrong to do that, but if you're gonna do this on one shot and then you go here the next shot, this will make you shoot a lot higher. If you've just shot 3 under and you go to split, now you're gonna get a higher shot. This is gonna change the up and down. The lower you go on the string, the lower your arrow is gonna go. So to stay more consistent and to fix that beginner mistake, always place your fingers in the same spot on the string every shot. When I talk about the anchor position, I talk about setting up, coming back to the corner of your smile, holding for 2 seconds. And while you're doing that, I'll also go over what's happening with my back elbow. I always let my archers know that you want to keep the back elbow up high, because if it's down here, you're going to lose power. A lot of beginners will make the mistake when they pull back to keep that elbow down low. What happens when you do that is your arrows tend to go low or under the target because you're losing a lot of power in the string. So this is what I would see happen. They're coming back like this, trying to aim, and then they shoot their shot. Not enough power in the shot. You need to get that elbow up so on your release you can get a powerful shot on that backside so you can keep that arrow getting a lot of power to the target. What we're gonna do to correct it, it's a really easy one to correct because all you're gonna do is lift it up. So you're gonna set up, come back. Now see how my elbow's up really high? You're gonna keep it up, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, and then you're gonna release, unshoot that shot. Super easy thing to correct, but it's also a super easy thing to overlook when you first start shooting archery. So make sure you keep that back elbow up nice and high. When archers first start out shooting, without even realizing it, this is what happens. Watch carefully. I might be dramatizing it a little bit, but what happens is the archer sets up, and as they pull the string back, they start to pull their body back with the string. And the next thing that you know is they are leaning back. When you lean back, the problem with that is 1, you're out of alignment. 2, you're more likely to have a clearance issue because your arm's gonna be out, your shoulder's gonna be up, and you're more likely to hit yourself right here. And then number 3, because you're leaning back, you might be at a different angle where you're gonna shoot over the target. Super easy fix. All you're gonna do is you're gonna place your arrow on the bow. Now, what you wanna think about is keeping your body in the letter T position. So keep your body straight up and down. And then what you have to remember is you are in control of the string. The string is not in control of you. So you are gonna tighten that core right here, okay? And all you're gonna do is you're gonna bring the bow up, keep the body nice and still. I actually even think about leaning my body forward just a little bit because as I pull the string back, it'll compensate and then I'll be nice and straight. Might feel a little weird, but it'll end up looking really good. So you set up, pull back, and then you look great. See how nice and straight that is, that letter T position? In my 4-step drill, we have stance, bow arm, anchor, release. On the release, the archer is supposed to set up, pull back to their anchor position, and come straight back to the ear. In beginner classes, most beginners will do something like this. They'll just open the hand up, or they'll come way out here. So opening or out here. When you do that, that means that you're not getting your follow through in the shot. And it's so important on that release to get a good follow through. Think about any type of sport. I think about baseball. I think about basketball, golfing. Every sport has some type of follow through. So as soon as you throw that ball, you don't stop. As soon as the ball leaves your hand, you follow through. Same with golf. As soon as you go to hit the ball, you don't stop. You have to swing all the way through. So it's the same concept in archery. When you go to shoot your shot, you're gonna set up, you're gonna pull back to your anchor, 1,000, 2, 1,000. As you release, you need to make sure you come straight back. This is your follow through in the sport of archery. And you wanna keep everything in one straight line. Because if you release and you just open the fingers, or you come out here, and I call that the soft shot, what'll happen is you're not gonna get the full shot. So a lot of times, especially if you're a right-handed archer and you just open the fingers, a lot of times because the shot is so soft, you're not getting any power out of it, the arrows will go low to the right. If you're a left-handed shooter, it'll do the opposite, okay? Even if your hand comes out here, the arrow is going to go off to the right-hand side. A lot of times it misses the target. So if you want to get that arrow to go straight down to the target, you have to remember to keep everything in a straight line. So you set up, you pull back, 1,000, 2, 1,000, straight back. The straighter your line is, the straighter the arrow is going to be. If your hand just barely comes out here, your arrows are going to do what's ever happening on this half. So just remember, get a good follow through in your shot instead of the soft shot, and that's going to fix the problem. This one is something that a lot of people will not catch or notice, and it's a big reason why archers can't get a good alignment, and a lot of new archers, they might start shooting under the target. What'll happen is when they go to pull back, they won't get the full amount of power out of their shot because they're completely out of alignment right now. You see that? Their elbows out, their body's caved in. They need to get up and they need to open that body up. That way they can stretch out all the way. Do you see the difference between this versus here? I will always tell the archer, I will walk up to them right in front of them, and they're a little bit more this way, and I say, turn your body more to me. Okay, so I'm gonna open my body to you. And once they open their body up, now they are in a straighter line to the target. So now when they set up, all they have to do, and I like them just to bring the bow arm up even before they start pulling the string back, just bring the bow arm up and come all the way back to that right smile there at the corner of your smile. And this will line them up really good. Instead of here, now they're stretched out more. Because when you're folded in, you're losing tons of power, and that's why they're gonna go under the target. Once you can do that, then you can stretch your body out and you can get that full draw. And as soon as you release, get that good follow through that we just talked about. That's gonna open you up. It's gonna give you so much more power in your shot. You're gonna be shooting more bullseyes that way. This big mistake that archers make on the first day is not necessarily form-based, it's more just in how they're loading the arrow onto the bow. So there's a couple things that I see happen a lot when loading on the first day, and loading incorrectly is not going to help you make the best shots downrange, especially if you're doing it different every time you load it. It's gonna put the arrow at different angles. It's going to be sitting on the bow in a way that it could, the fletchings could hit the bow on the way out and make them not fly as well. So let me go ahead and show you a few of those mistakes. So number one, archers on the first day, they'll forget if it goes above or below. So just remember the arrow goes below. Number two, the fletchings. You have two that are the same color, one that's different. The one that's different, make sure it faces towards you when you're shooting. If it faces towards the bow, when you go to shoot it, it's gonna hit the bow on the way out, and then the arrows won't fly straight. They'll come out crooked. So the way this arrow is designed is when you shoot, the arrow comes out and it misses the bow the way the fletchings are designed. Another common mistake that beginners will make is there's an arrow rest sitting here on the riser, but a lot of archers will end up still putting the arrow on the shelf. So now the arrow is caught between the shelf and the arrow rest. So what happens when they go to shoot, it's it's got to come out, it's going to get stuck in between that arrow rest here and the bow, and it will not fly as well because it's going to have a big, huge clearance issue right there, getting stuck in between those two. So make sure when you're shooting that you lay the arrow above the arrow rest. And if you can remember those three things, nock under the metal piece, odd fletching facing you, and laying the arrow on top of the arrow rest, if you can remember those, then you'll be golden and you'll be really consistent on your first day of shooting. Let's talk about grip position. When archers first start out shooting on their first day, I don't talk a lot about it. I really teach archers, I tell them to make a stop sign with their hand when we're learning how to shoot. And then when they get the bow in hand, all they're doing is they're just placing the bow in their hand. What tends to happen is they grip onto the bow really tight because they don't want to let go of it. So it's looking like this. And even more so, sometimes they're way over here to the side. See where my hand is? Way over here off the side. Now this isn't going to be ideal for shooting. You're going to get a lot of torque in the bow. You're going to be trying to grip and hold on to the bow. So it's going to put a lot of play on where the arrows go when you shoot. And it's really just not even natural. It's not comfortable to hold it this way. So what I'm going to teach you to fix that is you're going to go in the letter V. So instead of the stop sign position, which is what I teach basic beginner, we're going to go one step further and go to the letter V position. Now, when you're in the letter V position, you'll see this part right here. We call this the meaty part of the palm. The meaty part of the palm is what's actually going to go into the grip, just like this. Now, when you hold the bow, you're going to use your index finger and your thumb to hold on to the bow, and the other three fingers are going to stay nice and relaxed. And this is going to be a much more efficient, better grip position, because now you can take the meaty part of the palm and push into the grip, and this is going to be a lot more stable and feel a lot more comfortable for your shot. So the next time you're out at the field, try this grip position as opposed to what most beginners do and just grip on. The bow's not going to go anywhere. If your index finger and your thumb are holding on to it and you shoot, it'll be totally fine. Another biggie on the first day is archers will hit their bow arm when they're shooting. Number one thing, put an arm guard on just when you first get started in archery. Arm guard is going to protect that bow arm, so that way while you're working on learning how to shoot without hitting it, this is here for extra protection. A couple things that you can do to help from hitting your bow arm. Number one, this is probably the trickiest, but if you can figure this out, this is going to help you the most, is when you have your hand placed in here, you want to be able to rotate your arm in. So rotate it in, and then when you come up, it's out of the way. This, instead of, let me turn it back out here, see how my elbow's way out? See that? Because if I were to pull back here and let go, that string's gonna hit me all down the arm right there. But if you're able to rotate it in, now the hard part is a lot of people are not able to rotate this arm the way I am. And it's just lots of years of training and practice doing that. So if you're not able to do that on your first day, I do tell my archers, instead of having your hands locked out straight, which is ideal, you want your arm straight, you can just put a little slight bend in it, and just even a little slight bend will help keep it out of the way of the arrow hitting it. So see, if you have it out here, you just put like a little bend in it, that should clear up the problem as well. The other thing you can do is, a lot of times people will hit their arm on the first day because their shoulder's way up high. See here? And as soon as they shoot, they go at this angle. Okay, they're gonna hit their arm. So keep the shoulder low, down, and that should help clean up the problem as well. Another big contender is no anchor point. And no anchor point, I completely understand. Beginner archers are always really nervous to get the string too close to their face. So when people first start out shooting archery, a lot of the first shots will look something like this. They might lean their head back a little bit, their hands a lot more forward. They may even decide they'll come out here to the side, not to get too close, and they're just floating in the air. And I talk about this in a lot of videos. Floating anchor points are not something that we want in archery because you're never going to get in the exact same position every time. It's so important to have the same consistent anchor wherever you choose for it to be. If you have it higher up here on your cheekbone, if you're under the chin, if you're at the corner of the smile, you will just want it to be the same every single time. So it's really important. And I think that, and I know the reason why people don't want to touch the face is because they think the string is going to hit their face. And I'm letting you know here right now, if you just come to the corner of your smile, it's just going to come. The string will just come forward. Your hands are going to come back, but the string comes forward. Seems like every time I start my videos, I got this guy right here, Titus. He likes to come out and get water. And he drinks a lot of water. So he drinks and he drinks and he drinks and he makes a lot of loud noises. We'll give you one. We'll give you a little bit more camera time here, Titus. Hey, Titus. Titus. Such a good boy. Titus is actually going to be 13 this year. He's an English Mastiff, so he's doing pretty good. He hangs out with me, but he's loud and he's messy and he's always next to me. He likes to be always right next to me. That's a good boy. Okay. All right, so let's move on. So what we're talking about is you want to make sure you have an anchor position wherever you're going to choose for it to be. Make sure it's the same every single time. No floating anchors in archery. So what I would suggest to you, what I suggest in all my videos is come to the corner of the smile because it's the same spot. You'll always be consistent. But if you can, add in a second anchor position. So what I'll do is I'll use my thumb and I'll kind of put it up here in my jaw and I'll get my finger on the corner of my smile. And if you notice, it gives me 2 anchor positions instead of just 1. Okay, see how you could be moving around? This will lock you in really tight. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, and once you get that, there you go, he's drinking his water again. Once you can get a good solid anchor, then that's going to take away that mistake of having a floating anchor where your arrows could go anywhere. The problem is if you don't have an anchor position, you're going to have a shot on the target that's never going to be the same shot. It's always going to be in a different spot depending on where you are on your face. So the anchor position is super important. So make sure you tackle that one really quick right off the bat, wherever you choose for it to be. Make sure it's the same spot every single time. Chest up, shoulders up. So I see a lot of this when people are shooting archery on their first day. We gotta get everything down nice and low. When you bring the chest up, one, you're gonna have an arch back. You're gonna be a little bit less stable in your shot. When you have your chest up, you're more likely to have clearance issues of hitting your chest or your arm. Same with your shoulder up, more likely to hit your arm. Okay, so you wanna keep everything low center of gravity, okay? For the best foundation in your shot, keep everything nice and low. So to do that, you're just going to take your bottom and you're just going to tilt it in, lower your rib cage, lower your shoulders. Now the trick is when you go to shoot your shot, you have to keep the body low because I see this happen all the time. They keep everything low and then as soon as they go to shoot, they go back in that arch back position, chest up, shoulder way up here, and they lose their clearance, hit their arm, arrows go wherever they want. So you got to keep the body low, low shoulders, and all you're going to do is just bring the arms up and come straight back. See that versus this when you're shooting. Practice that the next time you go out. Keep a low center of gravity on your shot. You want to keep the body low, good foundation in the shot, and that'll improve your clearance and it'll just make your shot better all around. I hoped all 10 of those steps helped you today. I hope you learned something new and something that you can apply the next time you go out to the archery range. I would recommend to you, if you are just getting started out in archery, I have a video on the 4 basic steps of shooting, along with how to hold your fingers on the string correctly, how to load the bow correctly. So I'm gonna post some links here on this video so you can connect to them and you can watch those so you're gonna be ready to go on your first day of archery. Have a great day and happy shooting.